For more on the dire situation, let's turn to Michael Lynk. He's a professor emeritus of law at Western University in Canada and a former UN Special Rapporteur for the human rights situation in the Palestinian territories. First, great having you. Second, how effective have international aid deliveries been?
Not very, I'm afraid. We have almost unanimous criticism from around the globe with respect to the trickle of food and humanitarian aid that Israel is allowing into the Gaza Strip, and yet there doesn't seem to be much significant uptake in terms of the volume of aid that Israel is allowing in. Let's recall that what's happening now is that the 750,000 or so Palestinians in and around Gaza City are being ordered to move south towards Khan Yunis and Rafah. We know that, as you've mentioned in your report, that Gaza City has been declared to be a famine zone by the United Nations, stage 5 of the food classification. There is no stage 6. And they're being asked to move 20, 30, 40 kilometers to the south in weakened physical condition to be able to escape the intense fighting that's now going on in Gaza. We still have no large levels of humanitarian aid entering into Gaza. During the ceasefire in February, there was somewhere in the range of 650 trucks of humanitarian aid entering into Gaza each and every day. Since the end of May, when food was resumed, food and humanitarian aid, is somewhere between 70 to 130 trucks a day, and that hasn't significantly improved over the past 4 months. And yet we have thousands and thousands of trucks, estimated to be around 5,000 to 6,000 trucks, waiting outside Gaza with humanitarian aid that cannot get in because of Israeli orders.
And how are relief organizations coping with this situation? Is there any mitigating factor that they can count on?
Well, really, the only pressure that these humanitarian organizations, both the United Nations itself and these private international humanitarian organizations, is to shout as to what is happening. They use the term a man-made famine. They use the term starving. And the number of deaths from malnutrition, particularly being experienced by children, now being several hundred, and expected to grow more rapidly in the weeks to come. The fact that even the south of Gaza is in a zone 4 classification with respect to starvation, and unless significant amounts of food enter into the south of Gaza, it will be in a famine zone, classification 5, by the end of September. All of this is desperate, and all of the pleas of the international community on Israel and in turn the United States don't seem to be radically changing what's happening on the ground.
And I'd like to better understand what role should the international community play to ensure that humanitarian assistance is protected and delivered effectively?
Well, we've now come to a point where the issuing of statements by leaders in the global north, which have happened in Europe, which have happened with 3 of the G7 countries, Canada, France, and the United Kingdom, where harsher statements coming from even traditional Israeli allies within the European Union don't seem to be heeded. The only real big step left, which these countries have been reluctant to move, is to take decisive actions with respect to the banning of two-way weapon sales and the suspension of free trade agreements or association agreements, actually sanctioning Israel, imposing a cost on Israel, which none of them seem to have gone very far towards. And yet that's the one big, if you like, cudgel in their hand that they could use to change Israeli opinion and American opinion.
Michael Lynk, thank you for your time and insights.
Thanks very much for having me.